Coming up, a new project expected to revitalize and expand the Freeport economy. Also, members of the Coalition for Concerned Citizens say they are still not totally satisfied with GBPC's decision to delay the stabilization charge. And 2 women remanded on fraud charges. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Bahamas, I'm Shashina Wolf-Arkus, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the Minister of State for Grand Bahama welcoming a new project expected to revitalize and expand the Freeport economy. Talia Hall has our top story.
The Reef Project is a plan by the Grand Bahama Port Authority that is expected to revitalize and expand the economy of Grand Bahama. Minister of State for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, says he is thankful to the GBPA for forming the committee that seeks to move Grand Bahama forward. He says several government officials have had the opportunity to meet with members of the committee.
They gave us a brief view of these initiatives that were being put forward. Most and some of the initiatives are already underway. So, for example, the airport initiative, that's underway. The hospital, that's also underway. The environmental bylaws that are being proposed, the Attorney General is reviewing those bylaws. There are matters of immigration that are also being reviewed by the National Economic Recovery Committee.
He says the government is focused on having an agreed action plan and adds that the public's views will be taken into consideration.
Which is important, and so we are encouraging the public to take a look at them and to provide their view. The government themselves, with those things that relate to the government, we want to have a deep discussion and a deep dive with the committee on those things, because we have to take it a step further. We want to move it from just being words on a paper to action points that both the Port Authority and the government and the Chamber of Commerce can move on.
He says the government welcomes the project.
We may not all agree on all of those items, but most certainly those that we are already in action, like the airport, like the hospital, we most certainly can go ahead and move forward with those and give them specifics and timelines for those. But the bottom line is we welcome them, and we have asked them to take it a step further for us to actually move them from idea to action.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
In other news, many Grand Bahamians say that they are relieved that the Grand Bahama Power Company has delayed the implementation of its storm recovery and stabilization charge until January of next year. This coming after some consumers led a protest outside the offices of the power company, saying an additional charge cannot be tolerated at this time. The Coalition of Concerned Citizens among those protesting the additional charge. Leader Pastor Eddie Victor says while they are happy that the SRS charge has been delayed, they aren't completely satisfied. He says as far as they are concerned, the charge should not be placed on the backs of Grand Bahamians. Victor says they will continue to appeal to the Grand Bahama Power Company along with the regulator to find another way to recoup cost.
We are going to continue to fight because there's too much injustice right now. The systems that are in place are oppressing our people financially. And Grand Bahama has to be transformed into a prosperous island. And that's going to take the stakeholders and entities working together to bring the necessary prosperity to this island that Grand Bahama needs. And so our coalition will continue.
Well, executive member of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens, Kirkland Russell, says the total cost of repairs following Hurricane Dorian should be absorbed by Emera. And here's why.
The information that the mayor distributed on Grand Bahama on Thursday via their letter is full of incorrect information, and they must change it and tell the Grand Bahama people the truth, that they are paying taxes and levies for Hurricane Matthew, and now which will continue to 2022, and now they want the people to put a second tax, a second levy on top of that for Hurricane Dorian. So in essence, Emero wants to run a 100% cost-free company, and we in the coalition, we in the trade unions of the Bahamas will not stand for it.
Well, tomorrow is election day for members of the Bahamas Public Services Union. The membership of close to 3,700 public officers will vote throughout the country at various polling stations. Here on Grand Bahama, 500 members are eligible to cast ballots at the Bahamas Union of Teachers Hall in Pioneers Loop. 3 candidates are contesting the top post: incumbent Kemsley Ferguson of the Workers Team, Alex Burrows of the Power Team, and Ivan Thompson of Team United. Candidates for the post of Area Vice President for the Northern Region are Martha Mackey of the Power Team, Latoya Cartwright of the Workers Team, and Elizabeth Williams of the Team United. The polls will open at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and it will close at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. And in news from the crime beat, 2 women charged before the court this morning on fraud charges. Wendy Fox, age 38, of number 41 Edgar Place, wearing the red shirt, and Renee Harvey, age 51 years, of number 11 Imperial Park, appeared before Magistrate LaQuay Lang in Magistrate Court number 3 on the charges of possession of fraudulent documents, uttering a fraudulent document, and fraud by false pretense. Both pleaded not guilty. Bail was denied, and they were both remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services, and the matter was adjourned to December 7, 2020 for trial. Now, reports say the women are accused of presenting false information on a bail application form. Now, police tell us that over the past few weeks, officers have been monitoring bail applications presented before the courts. Officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department, Superintendent Ko Ewing, says information presented on those forms must be correct. Otherwise, those applying could face serious consequences.
We will be monitoring those applications going forward, and if there is anything untoward on those applications, persons will be brought before the courts to answer reference to the false information that was placed on those applications. We want members of the public to be aware that word to the wise is efficient. So please do not continue this practice. Going forward, we will monitor it, and if there are any improprieties, the law will come down hard upon them.
Well, meantime, a 25-year-old male is hospitalized in serious condition after he was stabbed to the chest during an altercation at a party off Albacore Drive. Reports are that shortly after 7 p.m. on Saturday, police were called to a residence off Albacore Drive where an altercation had occurred between a group of males, which resulted in one of the males being stabbed in the chest. The male was rushed to the hospital where he is listed in serious condition. Another male is also in police custody, assisting with this investigation. Also, 2 males are hospitalized after sustaining gunshot injuries from a shooting incident in West End last night. Police tell us that officers were called to a business establishment in West End shortly before 11 p.m. where 2 males were reportedly shot in the leg by an unknown male dressed in a mask and dark clothing. Both victims were transported to the Rand Memorial Hospital via EMS personnel, where their injuries are listed as non-life-threatening, and police are also investigating this matter. And more news from police tonight. A Sweetings Key resident was arrested after he was found in possession of suspected marijuana at a business establishment on Carl Road. Officers of the Northeastern Division, acting on information, proceeded to the business establishment late Thursday evening, where they searched a male fitting the description and discovered a quantity of suspected marijuana. He was arrested and taken into custody. And 2 males are also in police custody after they were arrested for shop breaking in the downtown area. Police were alerted that those 2 males in the downtown area had broken the glass window of a business establishment around 1 a.m. on Saturday. Officers of the Central Division responded and arrested the 2 males fitting that description and retrieved the stolen items.
We make this declaration over the Church of the Bahamas. We declare that the Church of the Bahamas is arising and the glory of the Lord shines upon her. We declare that glorious things are spoken of the Church of the Bahamas. We decree and declare that the church is the crown of glory in the hand of the Lord and a royal diadem in the hand of God. The Church of the Bahamas is beautiful in elevation and the joy of the whole earth. We declare that when the enemy comes in like a flood against the Church of the Bahamas, the Spirit of the Lord lifts up a standard against him, and that the gates of hell shall not prevail against the church. The Church of the Bahamas is living by faith. We declare that the Church of the Bahamas is gathering together with one accord to defeat the enemies of our God. That we are strengthened with all might according to God's glorious power unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness. We declare that the Church of the Bahamas is established in righteousness and that the set time to favor the Church of the Bahamas has come. We make this declaration according to Isaiah 60:1, Psalm 87:3, Isaiah 62 verse 3, Psalm 48:2, Isaiah 59:19, Matthew 16:18, Colossians 1:11, Isaiah and Psalm 102:13.
And when we come back, teachers gearing up for the reopening of public schools, that story and a whole lot more when we return.